Welcome to On the Couch with TrinityP3, a regular catch-up where we ask the questions and solve some of the issues facing the industry today. Today I'm joined by Bill Merrick, who's the Managing Director of TrinityP3 UK. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you, Darren. It's a joy to be here.
Well, thank you for coming halfway around the world to join me on the couch.
It feels as if I came all the way around the world to join you on the couch right now.
Well, look, you've had many years' experience in marketing and advertising and as a marketing director. Do you think that marketing today is more complex than it's ever been before?
Significantly more. I mean, there's no doubt that things like technology, big data, the way that laws have developed, data laws, privacy, all of the concoctions and mix of things is making the marketing director's job tougher than it's ever been.
And what's been the response, or do you think is the best response to dealing with that level of complexity? What should CMOs and marketing directors be doing?
Well, to be honest and to be fair, I don't think that a lot of them have actually dealt with it particularly well. I mean, it's been because every time they come up with a new structure that will help deal with the problems from 2 or 3 weeks ago, there's a new complexity that comes up and hits them at the back of the head again then. I think that the only thing that I could say that they should do is simplify down to the essential. Do the things that are essential and do them extremely well. Because the rest of it tends to be nice to have or accessories.
And also from a global perspective, because there's CMOs for a single market, regional market, but global marketers must be under a huge amount of pressure because the global market's infinitely more complex than any one of the others.
It's true. The problem that global marketing directors have is most of the pressure comes from within their own organizations. It's upwards, sideways, and downwards, and they spend most of their time defending their actions. And the problem is that most of them don't get the right data that would protect them in the best ways from that.
Because one of the problems seems to be that with all this pressure on marketers generally, but especially senior marketing leadership to deliver performance, often they're not necessarily aligned to their own organisations, are they?
No, they're not, and also they're distracted by their own organisations. I mean, I think, and I wrote something about this recently, I think that if marketing directors spent more time with their own C-suite team, working out what the commercial objectives of the company are all together from a short, medium, and long-term perspective, they would all be better served and they would get better results. Because they're keeping their colleagues informed, and through that information, getting approval to do it, their life is suddenly much simpler. I mean, I used to spend 70% of my time with my colleagues at the C-suite level, 30% of my time elsewhere on the other bits.
Yeah, actually living up to the Chief Marketing Officer title.
I tried to be that, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But, a business talks a lot about disruption. What do you think are the main disruptors for marketers?
I think it's the temptation to do the newest and sensational thing that somebody read about on LinkedIn or elsewhere, and there's a distraction around the whole thing of campaigns still, as opposed to the fundamentals of how do you get the business properly aligned, how do you start developing the right products, are you going after the right customers, are you treating them the right way, all of the things the marketing directors used to do and should probably go back to doing again. The job hasn't changed. It's just come under more pressure.
And I think part of that is technology has become the new shiny thing that's distracting people. There's always something new, but what's the solution to that?
Well, I find technology for a marketing director must be terrifying because they have to. They're told that big data counts, but nobody can work out why. And the people that can work out how big data does work aren't marketing people, so they can't explain where you should put it. So it becomes increasingly complex and goes round in circles.
It's where strategy becomes so important, doesn't it?
Well, I having come from the school of planners and the directors of strategy thing, is that I think if you don't know what you're doing or you don't know where you're going, then don't bother going anywhere. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the thing of do nothing is better than doing something if it's in the wrong strategy.
Reminds me of President Gerald Ford. His management style was in the Oval Office was ask what's the worst case scenario, and if he did nothing, and 95% of the time he did nothing, and was president during one of the most profitable or successful times in American history. So perhaps doing nothing is a strategy.
I've been thinking about the most successful marketing directors I've met in the last 2 decades, and they were all spectacularly successful at not changing anything. They just stuck to their guns, and it kept on working, and while it kept on working, they kept on doing it.
Now, just recently, because a lot of people talk about, the death of agencies and how it's the death of advertising and the like. But I think an old colleague of yours from Saatchi days, David Wheeldon, who is now the CMO at Royal Bank of Scotland, but he's also president of the World Federation of Advertisers, said that marketers can't forget they need agencies. What do you think he meant by marketers need agencies?
I think it's that the people in agencies tend to be significantly fresher on their insights and their ability to look at the markets and where you need to apply particular strategies and particular insights into the way that people behave. If you institutionalize that within your own organizations, and we've seen people attempt it so much over the last 20 years, and it always fails because it becomes part of the bureaucratic environment as opposed to genuinely innovative and creative. It fails.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a need to have that creative, strategic thinking, just the same as people talk about the need for innovation in business now. There's sort of the two sides of the one coin, aren't they?
I think there's a real tension there. You have to have that thing of the people who piss you off by their persistence to come up with new insights and new ways of looking at the same old thing. If you're one of the world's biggest packaged goods companies, you're normally selling something that was invented 80 to 100 years ago and trying to find new ways to do it.
And new ways to make it relevant.
And that's where I think the whole thing stays fresh. And also some of the best brands that we have these days have been the best at using applied creativity. And there'll be the Googles, the Facebooks, even Apple. They keep it fresh by using agencies. They wouldn't dream of doing it in-house.
Yeah. Yeah, the culture will overcome the creativity if they're not careful.
Because they're the smartest people, I think, on the planet in terms of buying creativity when and where you need it most.
Yeah. So what we have seen is agency rosters. So marketers are finding themselves, it's not just the agency anymore. They've got the technology companies in there selling them solutions. Media's split out. They've got programmatic buying. They've got all these specialists. So the roster is growing all the time. What advice would you give to a CMO or a marketing director around the best ways of managing this growing roster?
When I was a marketing director, the interesting thing was I think we were much better at actually building the appropriate organizational structures and building the right expertise in, and then making sure that they were managed well and were given specific tasks aligned to the commercial imperatives of the company, rather than just creating them because you could. They were very stripped back. They were well-engineered structures which played totally into what your company did. So we didn't ever add anything that was a luxury. There was no point. In those days, I think every marketing director was a cold-hearted bastard or was seen as that. They were not trying to be nice people. You had a job to do.
Yeah.
And you built structures and you got it done.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Bill. Thanks for joining me on the couch.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And thank you for joining us on the couch at TrinityP3. Please subscribe to the TrinityP3 YouTube channel and stay tuned for more On the Couch coming very soon. Thank you.